I've been a psychic my whole life, but I didn't always call myself that or advertise that fact. In fact, I kept that part of me pretty secret for a good part of my life because people didn't receive it too well. But it wasn't really something I could hide well. When I was very young, it was obvious to everybody. And my great grandmother, who was also psychic, um, picked me out from among my sisters and said, "She's like me. she's taken after me." And she used to sit me on her knee and tell me things. And then my mother, which is the other side of the family, is also psychic, and she also said, "Oh, you're the one that's like me." They didn't use the word psychic, but you know. And then my mother's mother, my mother's mother, mother's mother's mother, all the way back on that side were psychic, but I didn't grow up knowing those people. I just knew of them. It was just understood that that was something that ran in the family, and it happened to land on me. So what did that look like for me as a kid? I used to see auras around plants. I used to see little people. I used to know when things were going to happen. I remember a really dramatic incident when I was 12 where I dreamt of my cousin's death. And this wasn't a cousin that I even knew. I knew his mother. I knew of him. I'm sure I had met him, but he wasn't someone that I was close to. He was quite a bit older than me. I was 12 and he was like 20. But I dreamt that he died, and the next day we got the call that he had died. Really, really traumatically. I had different people come and speak to me who were deceased. I saw a lot of deceased people. I used to be able to feel all of my mother's feelings, and if she got sick, I got sick. If I went to a hospital, I could feel everybody's illnesses. I didn't like visiting my friends who were sick. I just had feelings about people. They didn't tell me, but I just knew things about them. That was overwhelming at times, feeling people's feelings and feeling their physical ailments. So I had a lot of those experiences, and then I also used to travel out of body. From the time I was very young, I remember these beings coming and getting me, and they would come and get me at night, and they would take me on these trips into the future, into the past, into other lands, and show me things, and it was like, it was educational tours. And I would also go to these classrooms where there were other students, and we were all little balls of light, and I would learn things at night. I remembered all my past lives as a kid. I would remember them as dreams, and I would write them down. But what was just most memorable about it was I had lots of memories of dying. And so I never had a fear of death. From the time I can remember, I never had a fear of death because I had seen myself die over and over again. So I had all these experiences, and I had, kind of some ambivalence towards it. So I had kind of an on-off switch. And sometimes when I got overwhelmed with these experiences, I would just, shut it off. And then maybe some time would go by, and then I would shut it back on. Now, it wasn't ever all the way off, but I could kind of keep it from being so intense for certain periods of time. And then I would show any interest, and then as soon as I showed any interest in it, it would come back full force, So I got involved in, some ceremony, and I ended up working with some priestesses and some, Native American medicine people, and Afro Christian priestesses, Caribbean priestesses, and then I started studying with the spiritualists, and I just learned from a lot of different people, and the more I learned, the more comfortable I became with my gifts and with sharing them with the world, and being open and honest about who I was and what I could do, and really embracing them fully. Now, before I had control of my gifts, I didn't feel so comfortable with it. But once I got enough training, I developed my gifts. And once I developed them, I went from being somebody whose gifts controlled her to somebody who controlled her gifts. And that's a very different lifestyle. When your gifts control you, your life can be kind of chaotic and overwhelming. I used to have spirits coming to me at night, waking me up, showing me stuff I didn't want to see, giving me messages I didn't want to hear for people I didn't know or who I didn't want to talk to. And I was shown, future, tragedies, people dying in floods and tsunamis and genocide and wars. And it was overwhelming, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't enjoy it. But that's because I didn't have control of it. I wasn't accepting it, I wasn't acknowledging it, and so it was overwhelming. But once I really embraced it and decided to get, training and to really make a concerted effort to study and to learn and to figure out how I wanted to use this gift, once I did that, things really changed for me. And now I have complete control of my gifts. I don't ever have a situation where I'm out of control or overwhelmed or bombarded with too much information. I don't have scary experiences. I don't have ghosts waking me up at night and rattling chains or showing me how they died. I don't see people's deaths because that's not something that I want to see. I don't feel everybody's physical symptoms when I meet them like I used to. I used to shake hands with people and just get all this information. It's like, no. I don't do that anymore because I don't want to. Now the only time I pick up people's symptoms is when they meet with me as a client or a family member comes to me in distress, and then I tune in. I say, okay, let me tune in and see what's going on. But otherwise, I'm not bombarded with everybody's physical symptoms anymore. It's because I have control of it. So my own journey has really informed this course and what I want you to get out of it. I know there are a lot of people out there like me who have had experiences that are overwhelming and that are scary, and they have felt ambivalence towards their gifts. This course will help you get control of your gifts. And being in control of your gifts is really important because then it allows you to have really a positive relationship with them.